Hey everybody, it's kind of been quite some time since I posted anything, right? I know it's been too long. Um Anyhow, sorry, it's been busy for me. Um just a lot going on. Um you know. I actually thought that we'd talk about something important today. Um Not that other stuff hasn't been important, obviously. I'd like to think that I only talk about important stuff, but then again, depends on what's important to you, right? Um, for me, this is more than just important because I care about the well-being of humanity, but I also care about this because it's actually something very personal to me as well. Um, I don't know if everybody's watching the news or anything of that sort. I don't really watch the news necessarily, but I do read a lot of articles and currently am working on an essay or a paper in my English class about this subject. And the subject, of course, is the Affordable Care Act. And I'm sure a lot of you have heard, the new Affordable Care Act, what's been established for America or almost established. I know it's not fully passed yet, which hopefully it doesn't fully pass, but if it does, I do think that we're in for a scare um, for the world. But this is also personal to me because I am currently on Medicaid and Medicare. Actually, technically Medi-Cal because it's California. But I have both Medi-Cal and Medicare. And with this whole thing going to pass, I actually may lose my health insurance. And that would be really hard because not only would it suck because, well, what happens if an emergency happens, but there's also a lot of health things that I do have to worry about. For instance, I have arthritis, I have a heart problem, I have a thyroid problem, I've got a lot of things that if it were to go through and, let's say I actually needed the health care, I would not have access to it. And that's scary to me. Now, in doing my research for my paper, I actually found a lot of very interesting information. For instance, the new Affordable Care Act, it's going to cut back so much, first of all, but the different things that it's going to cut back on are, well, one, people who already have existing conditions. Now, when you think about it, every single human being has some form of something. There's just there's no way to not have some form of something. No human body is perfect. So pre-existing conditions. That's scary that they are going to take health insurance from people who already have pre-existing conditions. For instance, people with cancer and different forms of cancer. And I mean, what kind of America are we trying to live in here? Where, I thought we were trying to solve the end of cancer, not let's start a new phase of cancer. You know what I mean? Like, what kind of world is that we're trying to create with this? And that to me is scary on its own. But that's not even the half of it. Um, there's other conditions as well. But then there's also the fact that they want to take away health care for schools who treat special needs children, and other things like preventative care and eye screenings and hearing screenings. Those are things to help make sure that your children are on the right pace. If they're not able to hear in school, they have that access to be able to determine that is the reason that they're having issues in school. Or, what about the different things that they do for children with learning disabilities and things like that? What exactly are we trying to do for America here. Once again, I mean, children are our future, right? And yet again, we're taking away everything we can from our children. And that to me is a scary, scary thing, because if we want them to be our future, which, believe me, they're supposed to be our future, but at the same time, we take everything away from them, we won't have a future. There will be no future because we've taken it all away from our children. And, well, you know, that sounds like a great America to live in, right? Um, I mean, you know, it's getting off to a great start when the first 100 days that we've got so far, right? It's just 100. It's just 100 so far. You know what that means? That how many is there left? And that's only if he just gets the 4 years, you know. He could get 8 years too. But hopefully that doesn't happen. But I mean, there are other things that the Affordable Care Act is going to try and take away. Our children are senior citizens. I mean, I know that a lot of people have different views on senior citizens, but here's the thing. They were once our age. Now, when you become their age, are you going to want to be treated the same way that they're being treated now? Probably not. And you know what I've always looked at senior citizens, to me, is it's my grandma, my grandfather. You know, like, someone could be treating my grandparents that way. Now, both my grandparents are dead, that, you know, I would at least think about that with. But when I thought about that, I always was like, oh man, I would never want someone to treat my grandparents that way. That would be horrible to them. And then, you know, of course, I was respectful instead. I, you know, did not treat them the way that I would want or not want people to treat my grandparents. But I mean, there's a lot of other ways. If you really don't care about your grandparents, that's cool, okay? But think about the fact that someday you're going to be that age. You may think, oh, whatever, I'm going to die before then. Nah, you know what? Let's see that not happen, and then you wonder, what could I have done back then? What could I have done back then to make them treat me better now? And unless you're planning to kill yourself, which I would think that you would think is wrong if you're thinking in that way anyways, hopefully. But you're going to be a senior citizen someday. It's going to happen. Maybe you could smoke 1,000,000 cigarettes and hope that that'll kill you. But at the end of the day, sometimes karma has a good way of saying, well, fuck you. Here you go. Have at it. You know, so hopefully you learn your lessons from that one right there, but maybe not. But, you know, health. Health is supposed to be a necessity. Necessity. I mean, it keeps you alive. This is not something that is just like, oh, well, maybe I'll be healthy today. Oh, maybe I'll go to the doctor someday. Oh, maybe I broke my leg. I don't really need to go to the emergency room. Oh, I split my head open. I really don't need to go to the emergency room. No, that's not how you think. Those situations happen. You know, it's a necessity. You have to go. Now, we treat it in America like it's a luxury. It's something that, oh, we just have somewhat access to if you've got the money, or if you may or may not have certain health conditions already, or, you know, whatever, if you qualify. I'm sorry, but I'm an American. I should qualify, right? I mean, I'm an American. I should qualify just in that fact. And yet somehow we're allowing it to be, oh, don't worry about your health. It doesn't matter. It's not that big of a deal. You know, we're going to save America millions of dollars. But, yeah, you know, oh, you'll be fine. You'll be fine. I mean, really, does that sound not like what's happening here right now? Because I mean, we're going to cut back so much, and I think the sad part is that, you know, we sit here and say, oh, well, we're going to save money doing this, and then, you know, oh, they don't really need the health care, everything will be fine, and then when these people have some sort of form of something that gets so bad they have to go to the hospital and they can't afford it, and then they're in debt so bad that they end up homeless, and then we're sitting there judging them because they're homeless. Because, oh, well, you should have gotten a job, you should have paid it off, you should have done this. Oh, really? Is that what they should have done? Is that what they should have done? Because, really? I mean, it's that easy. Why don't you do it yourself? You know, I mean, obviously, I'm sure Trump has billions of dollars. But there's so many people out there that we don't have that kind of money to just throw around whenever we feel necessary. I mean, not to mention, I don't have the kind of money to turn myself orange. You know, go get a tan to turn myself orange just whenever I feel like it. No, I stay white. I mean, I can turn a little brown in the sunlight, but, you know, I don't turn orange. But I mean, you know, what exactly is it that we are finding important in America today? Because I know exactly what it is, but what do you think it is? Because it's not the things that we need it to be. America is so in debt at this point in time, we're trying to find any way possible to make sure that we make up that money, whether it kills millions of people or it harms millions of people for years on end because they can't get access to what they need. So we're saving money for America, but yet we're killing America at the same fucking time. You know what I mean? Like, does that sound like what exactly we should be doing? I mean, honestly, if you save every American's life, maybe you'll have more brains to help you figure this shit out, you know? I mean, at the end of the day, you know, 2 heads are better than 1. A million, godzillion, whatever, however many people are in America, I believe it's a couple billion. I don't even know, but I don't care. I know that that many brains is going to be better than that orange brain. I don't know what is wrong with that orange brain. And at this point in time, I am just so disgusted with the way that everyone just fell so in love with this man who obviously, I mean, had no prior knowledge of anything to do with America, and yet we wanted him to be the president? I mean, how do you allow someone who has no law degrees, no nothing, no prior politics, and yet he is running the country? And look at how he's running it over Twitter and taking away everything that you need. You know what I mean? Like, that sounds great. Oh, and don't forget his golf trips and his millions of dollars vacations that he's already spent within the first 100 days. That sounds like a great president to me. Sounds like a great president. But in the end, are we really going to be in love with this president? I mean, I was never in love with him. Then again, I am a lesbian, so maybe that's why. I don't know. But still, are you really going to be okay with that? Because I know there was a lot of people who were low income and things like that that voted for Trump because they really felt he was an honest man. Honesty, that's great. Follow through is what's better. Because yes, Hillary may have lied, may not have lied, but if she followed through with everything she said, at least it would have been better than someone who's sitting here talking about how horrible women are and how he's just going to treat them the way he wants, and the things that he had to say about millions of Americans by race, nationality, color, the fact that they may have some descent that's related to millions of, or not millions, but terrorists out there, okay? Who gives a fuck? Who gives a fuck? These are Americans. And I'm sorry, but if something is bound to happen, it's bound to happen no matter what. You throw them out of the country, they're going to come back, and they're going to do it to us even worse. Believe you me, it's going to happen. And I think that if we made peace with other countries instead of actually trying to terrorize them or throw them out of our country, we probably would be at a better place. But not to mention that these people are actually Americans, born and raised. They just had a different culture than you may have had. That, to me, That's insane. America was built in a melting pot. We wanted it to be a melting pot. Why? Because we wanted to grow freedom. Freedom for all. And yet we have taken that freedom away in so many ways. And he's about to take it away even worse if he gets his way. So, I am rooting so bad, but at the end of the day, I know I didn't believe he would become president. And to me, I can't believe that this bill will pass. But really, I didn't believe he'd become president. So, who knows what will happen? And it's scary, it's crazy, but what else do we have to do anymore but fight? Stand up for ourselves. Use that freedom until it's taken completely away. And look at this little kitten needs freedom too. Anyways, I hope that you got... Sorry, I talk all day and my words just get so mixed up, and I am obviously on a rant right now. But I hope you guys enjoyed my video. Like, subscribe. Hopefully there's a lot more likes than dislikes. But at least I'll know why you disliked it. You can disagree, and that's fine. I have never, ever said that you should agree with me. I think that this is more of like the ethical theory, utilitarianism. And if you know anything about that, which I have talked about it before, but we need to use the utility to the greatest advantage, not the lesser. And right now I think that we're using it for the lesser. And that to me is wrong in every way. So, say goodbye, kitten. This is Hercules, by the way. He's the new one. Got 3 new ones, actually. And I hope you all know that you are beautiful, no matter what anyone says out there, including our president. And I think you should stay beautiful, stay who you are, and stay strong in it, and stay proud in it, because it doesn't matter what someone else says. You are who you are. So, stick with it. Have a great day.